I don't even know why I'm a writer. Nobody's buying my book. Like, I try so hard. Why aren't you buying my book?
Welcome to Not Safe for Words. I'm your host, Crystal L. Kirkham, multi-genre author, editor, and cover designer. I'm here to give you insight into the world of publishing and to help you avoid the mistakes that others have made. So stick around. You're in for one hell of a ride where I don't curb the curses.
No, seriously, guys. Buy my book. Just joking, actually. But this is Professionalism Part Deux. Or 2 for those who only speak English. And professionalism is something I'm going to harp on quite a lot over the seasons of this podcast, however many there may be. I talked about it last year. I'm talking about it again this year because our focus here with this season is about dealing with others within the writing community, your writing life, editors, reviewers, readers, critiquers, everybody, really. I mean, there is no part of the writing life that doesn't involve another person in one way or another. And being professional, especially in the public realm, which is what we're going to focus on with this episode, is so important. Now, that little example I gave at the beginning is something I've seen a lot of authors do. They are self-published most of the time or indie published, and they're having a really hard time getting people to buy their book. And it's something that so many of us struggle with. But the one thing I could definitely say is whining about how nobody buys your book doesn't really entice anybody to buy your book. I mean, other than a few friends, but if I'm random Joe Blow nobody on the internet and I come across that, I'd be like, well, why would I want to buy your book? I mean, if it's as whiny as you are, I don't want to read it. Okay, well, maybe they're not fucking thinking that, but you don't know. You're not in their head, and nor am I. I'm not that kind of person. I'm just speculating here. But at the same time, when you're in the public realm, we covered it way back in author branding, and I think a couple other episodes in season 1, such as reasonable expectations and the professional author, yada yada, etc., etc. A few times we've covered this in that you want to present yourself the way you want people to see you as an author. And yes, it may be your personal account, but unless it's a private account, if it's under your name that you write under, it is now officially an author account, whether you want it to be or not. And that's pretty much the end of the tale. So you have to think about how you want to present yourself as an author, how you want your readers and potential editors, publishers, etc. and whatnot to view you. It is a very, very important thing to keep in the back of your mind, if not in the forethought of your mind, when you're interacting with the general sphere in any sort of context that it can be considered a public realm. And that's where professionalism comes in, and having that attitude of, this is how I wish to present myself. Do I want to be seen as somebody who's always whining and crying about their sales? That is, if sales are the most important thing to me as an author, is that what you want people to see in you? And that's the question you have to ask yourself in terms of being a professional. How do you want people to see you? Like, let's just pick on me for a second. Do I want people to see me as a foul-mouthed, fairly nice, but kind of quirky human being? Yes, I fucking do. That is exactly how I want people to see me, because those are also sort of the characters that I can create when I'm writing. So when they're interacting with me, they get a good idea of the sort of characters I'm putting out there. Are some of the topics I talk about a little bit on the darker side? Definitely. Yes. Is my sense of humor a little bit outside the ordinary? Yeah, it is. That too. But it's also what people expect from me, and they can expect from my writing the exact same shit. So as a professional, yes, I am portraying the image I want. I am not out there trying to bully people because, well, frankly, I think that's absolutely a shit thing to do to anyone. But it's also not what I want to portray to others. It's not what I want others to see from me. I am the kind of person who, yes, loves to cheer on my fellow author. I want to see everyone else succeed, and it's something that comes through in any social media account I'm on. It's something that comes through in my personal life, even for those who think I am a hard-ass, cranky bitch with no heart. When push comes to shove, I'm always there to want to help and see others succeed, which is, you know, where this fucking podcast started from. So when you're putting out that professional persona in the public life, that what you want people to see from you, you need to be okay with what aspects of your personality that you're putting out there. If you want to be seen as somebody who whines, somebody who is constantly claiming they're going to quit if nobody buys their book, if you want to be seen as that kind of person, well, by all rights, or, well, by all means. Dear God, it's really fucking late, guys, so please excuse me if I use the wrong words tonight. By all rights, go ahead. Be that person. Just know that there are always going to be consequences for what you say and what you do. Depending on what country you live in, yes, you have all rights to say whatever the fuck you want. However, you are not spared the fact that others are affected by what you're saying, and others are going to react to what you're saying either negatively or positively. I could give you an example. There is an author out there who is well known among editors to be a very horrible person. He bullies other authors, he bullies agents, he'll bully editors who won't publish his work. And it's something that we all know. We know this name. We know this person. There are blog posts about him. And yet, he continues to try to get works published through any publisher he can, despite the fact that unless they are not tuned into what's going on, they're going to know who this person is, and they are not going to touch this guy's work. And you don't want to be that author. You don't want to be the one whose reputation precedes them in the most negative of manners. Which is where it comes that I've mentioned a few times that I have confidants. People who are trustworthy, that I can bitch and complain to and say all the negative things that drive me mental. I can rant and rave about reviews, critiques, an editor that I've dealt with, people that I trust, that I know it won't go any further. And I can have those little temper tantrums, those non-professional moments with people who understand and aren't likely to take my words out of context or let them go further than that moment. They're there to let me rant and let it all out. And you need those people in your writing life. You really, really do. But in public, I cannot stress that enough. I do not say these things. I do not rant about these things. Never, ever on my public forums, because that is not the person I want to be seen as. In fact, that's not even the person I want to be. But we all need those moments of release. We all need to get that shit out of our system every now and again. So that's where a trusted person comes in. And so bad reviews, bad critiques, bad interactions with editors, pretty much anybody I fucking deal with in my writer's life as an author, a publisher, or whatnot, that shit doesn't end up in public. And that's as simple as that. And that's all it is about being professional. As I, expounded upon at the beginning of this little tiny episode here, I have to think about what I want people to see in me, in my work, in who I am trying to present. I want them to see that image. So I'm not going to take things into the public realm that aren't reflective of that. But at the same time, I'm still going to be true to who I am, because you always have to be true to who you are. Otherwise, that shit is going to hit the fan one way or another, and it ain't going to be pretty. And as hard as it is to balance who you are and your disappointments and all of that, because, sometimes we do have to share our disappointments. We have to let other people know the realistic life of being a writer, because there are new writers out there, which, once again, here's where the podcast started, that have this idealized version because they aren't hearing the negative bits. I'm not saying don't talk about the negatives. I'm just saying, if you're talking about those negatives, don't present it in a way that reflects poorly on who you are trying to present yourself as in the most honest and authentic way that you can. Negativity, well, not negativity, but negative shit is a part of being an author. We're going to get rejections. We're going to get bad reviews. We're going to get hard critiques. We're going to have bad sales. We're going to have God knows what going on. An editor that we think is fucking out of their mind because they didn't see the brilliance of our work. But how we bring that negativity, I keep saying this word, how we bring those negatives in our writing life to the public forum does reflect on us. If all you're doing is bashing an editor, believe it or not, there's a good chance that editor might see it and know you're talking about them. That's not a good thing, because as big as the publishing world is, it's also really fucking small. And people know people. Editors talk to other editors. Authors talk to other editors. Authors talk to other authors. Editors talk to publishers. Publishers talk to authors. Guys, people fucking talk. Like, this has always been a rule in life, and things get around sooner or later, one way or another. And I've seen it blow up in the faces of so many people. I don't want you to be those people. I want you to succeed. That's pretty much all there is. Just think about it. Think about who you want to present yourself as. Be authentic. Talk about the bad experiences. But don't bring that negative energy into talking about the things that haven't gone well. Feel free to say, hey, sales are slagging. Let's talk about ways that maybe we can help promote our work. Let's talk about ways that we can help each other cross-promote our work. Just say, hey, you're not feeling kind of down. Sales have been a bit slagging, but you know what, guys? You're going to see a few more ads from me. If you could help share them, if you can retweet, you can share it to your friends group, you can give it a good old like, heart, whatever the fuck, for whatever platform you're on. Hey, could you do that for me? That would be great. I mean, that's saying, hey, this is a thing that's happening, but I'm not dwelling in it. And I guess that's where the real negativity comes in, is when you're dwelling in the things that aren't so great about having to be a writer. If you accept it, it's a fact, and move on with it, it really can help with how you portray yourself. But of course, that's just how I do it. You may have your own, view of things, your own way to swing that cat. And just make sure, once again, that you're reflecting who you are and that you are trying to set the best possible foot forward. This has been another episode of Not Safe for Words. I hope you found some useful advice here today. If so, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can join me next time for more publishing and writing insights. Thanks for listening.